So here is the chunk that we were starting on. Hopefully, you guys did some small amount of work in class. Uh, there were definitely groups that were being productive and groups that weren't being productive. You know who you are. All right. So what we have here is this line, and we have the heu and the eke that are telling us that things are about to go poorly. Okay. Bad things are about to happen. And you have a couple foreshadowings here, not the least of which is that Aeneas decided to dress up. And according to the Bronze Aged warrior sort of code of conduct, dressing up, as your enemy and trying to trick them was bad juju, which really should mean that the Greeks are kind of, in trouble too, but they don't seem to get in trouble here. It's just Aeneas and his men. So, alas, don't trust the gods. And then behold, and notice you have the eke. The eke here, behold. If you guys remember, the previous eke was like line, I don't remember. It had to do with the snakes, the before the two snakes. Remember, it says, "Behold, twin serpents from Tenedos come skating across." And now we have this eke, and it is going to be a question at some point. And look at the two times that Vergil has used this eke, and think about why. What was the transition that was happening? So, behold, the Primea Virgo. Primea here is just a word. It means daughter of Priam. It's a fancy way of saying daughter of Priam. They often call children, but you know what? I think the glitter isn't going to work, is it? That makes it a little hard to read. They often call the daughter of children. They would call children by their parents' names. Let's just go that way. All right. So let me see if these pens will work. Hold on. I've got way too much crap on my desk. All right. So it means daughter of Priam. So behold, okay, behold. Is that still kind of glittery? I don't think this is glitter. Okay. The daughter of Priam. And Vergo here means maiden. It means young girl. It's still glittery. Okay. It does mean virgin. We get virgin from it, but that is not what it means. It means maiden. In this case, I think we could say maiden daughter. The Primea here is literally the maiden of Priam. So we would say the daughter of Priam. Okay. And what's happening? Notice the passive here. The daughter of Priam, oops, is being dragged. Okay. Now we have this kind of um it's all over the place, and whenever things get emotional, it gets all over the place. The daughter of Priam, Trahibator, is being dragged. Pastis is going with the crinibus here. All right, notice they're both plural ablatives. Okay, notice that the Primea Virgo is in between them. So this is, even though it's on separate lines, it would still count as chiasmus. And what's interesting is crinibus means hair, passus means having been spread out. Is being dragged with her hair spread out. Ooh, out. Okay. From the temple. And now we learn her name, Cassandra. Now you could put Cassandra up here. Behold, the daughter of Priam, Cassandra, is being. But I notice sometimes if I go too far out of order, it confuses you. So I'm keeping it in order. Is being dragged out, is being dragged with her hair spread out, a templo, from the temple. Now, this a templo is actually going with this aditus. The temple, this means temple, and this means shrine. Okay. And what we would say is from the temple, the quay is what connects the two things. Remember, quay is always going to connect two things that are exactly the same. And in this case, it's connecting the two ablatives from the temple and shrine of Minerva. And now you add in the Cassandra, wherever, oops, Cassandra, wherever you want. Okay. And I don't really, it's kind of wherever you want to put her. So behold, the daughter, the Priam, I guess the daughter of Priam, is being dragged, pastis crinibus, with her hair having been spread out, from the temple and the shrine of Minerva. And we have Cassandra again at the center of this line, as a beautiful sort of word picture, because we see what's going on. All of this is happening, and Cassandra's at the center of all of this, unpleasantness. So this is a word picture. Okay. So the word picture, then Cassandra, and then you can see the temple and the shrine surrounding her. Literally, she was being dragged from the center of what should have been a safe space. Even in the Roman world, temples and sanctuaries should have been sacred. I don't know if you guys have ever watched an old, I don't know, anything. Churches used to provide sanctuary, even for criminals. If you laid your hand on the altar cloth and demanded sanctuary, the church would protect you for a certain amount of time. So Cassandra should be protected, but she's not. Okay, now this nominative is also, notice the three nominatives here stretching across the three lines. And what we have, tendons means stretching. And when we have this, even though it's a present participle, okay, it's a nice little present participle because of the NS. Okay, so PP, present participle. And present participles are verbal adjectives. And so we would say stretching. Stretching. Okay, we need a direct object. And there it is right there. She is stretching her ardentia lumina. Her burning, lumina means lights, but in this case, it means eyes. Stretching her burning eyes. Now, okay, they're literally not on fire, okay? But we have in English even, flashing eyes or raging eyes. We describe eyes, we personify eyes a great deal. And so when we say burning eyes, we're not talking about literally on fire, but perhaps just, bugging out, crazed, whatever. All right, so she is stretching her burning eyes ad caelum, to the heavens. All right, because you need to know where she's going, to the heavens, frustra, in vain. And there you have that last little bit, in vain, showing us that, of course, whatever she's doing, nothing matters, because we know in the end, the ultimate fate of Cassandra is to die. Okay? Now we get this repetition here, lumina. Okay? That is anaphora. So we have this anaphora of the lumina. And why is he doing that? Well, he's doing it for emphasis. Oh, come on. And God bless, all things wrong. Try another pen. Let's try this again. Okay. Anaphora, the repetition of two or more words to strike an effect. And here I'm going to tell you what the effect is in just a second. So we say the eyes. The eyes, nom, for, F-O-R, not F-O-U-R, for vincula, chains. Okay, chains, archaebon, were holding back. Teneras palmas, her slender palms. Her slender, you can say hands. That's really what it means. So she can't beg to the gods with her hands. She can't use the normal prayer because she's bound. And so that's what the lumina there is for. He's like, she's stretching her burning eyes to the heavens, pleading for help. Her eyes, because her hands are in chains. And this is, again, a desecration, not only of a temple, but of a priestess. I get that, Apollo and she had already had beef, but she was still a priestess. And, you don't do stuff like that. All right, now this is when Coroebus comes back into play. Okay, remember Coroebus had been courting Cassandra. Why are these names all C's? All right, and he isn't going to take this well. So notice the non tulit and the Coroebus. That is what we call line framing. Okay, we're framing the line with the most important bits here. So line framing, and this is going to have significant impact on what's going to happen next, right? So Coroebus, non tulit, did not carry. Tulit comes from Pharaoh. Pharaoh, feri, tuli, latus. It means to carry. We would say could not withstand. He could not handle this. So the Romans, where we would say he can't withstand it, they say he couldn't lift it. Like he couldn't let this go without doing something, right? So Coroebus it's not even subjunctive, it's just did not carry, only it's in the perfect. Yeah, did not carry, honk this site. Okay, honk means this. Hick, hi, cock, squeeze. All right, honk, specium means site. So, Coroibus did not carry, did not lift this site, furatiamenta, with a raging mind. With a raging mind. Okay, as you would if someone that you love is being hurt, right? So someone, and especially when you get all of the machismo, sort of classic male protector instincts, I guess, going with Coroibus, especially in a Bronze Age warrior, seeing the woman that he loves being dragged out with her hair messed up, and in chains. So what's going to happen? Okay. I a long time ago, guys, there was a YouTube video called Leroy Jenkins. Your parents probably remember this. Ask your parents about Leroy Jenkins. All right. That's how I envision this. Maybe I'll show you guys the video next class. All right. So Coroibus could not lift this, and he inyeket. He threw himself in, right? In yeket. Yakeos, to throw, in to in. He threw sese himself. He threw himself. And then you have the in here, so you can say into the middle. And then you have this agminum here, and you're like, oh, this medium is actually going with this agminum. How do I know that? Well, okay, oftentimes when you have prepositional phrases like this, especially when it's the preposition and the noun, the adjective is usually tossed out. Vergil and many authors don't like to put noun adjective pairs together. So when I see like an accusative over here and an accusative here, and they're both in the same gender, and I'm like, hey, that makes sense. And it's also, this means battle line. So he throws himself into the middle battle line. And that makes sense, right? Now, some of you are like, but what about this preteritus? The preteritus is a future participle. I don't know if you guys remember future participles, but they are the intending to do something or going to do something. And we can tell they're future because of the you are in them. So if you remember future, ooh, I can't even read that. Let me try this again. Try this one. Future participles have the okay? And they're going to be translated as about to or going to. And in this case, preteritus means going to die. So he threw himself into the middle battle line. We could say about to die if you want. About to die. Now, the about to die is modifying Coroibus. You can fit it in sort of wherever you want. You could say, and about to die, he threw himself into the middle battle line. It could go either way. However you wish to put it, that's fine. This, of course, is foreshadowing by Vergil. We also have this beautiful sort of word picture here where the middle battle line is surrounding the guy about to die. So that, again, is a nice little word picture. Because he just goes ahead and eats himself in there. Does not end well, right? Does not end well. Especially since he's still dressed up in Greek armor. So keep that in mind. A Greek soldier is about to throw himself into a middle of more Greek soldiers, and he's about to start killing Greek soldiers. Things are going to get weird, right? And what happens? So if your bro throws himself into the middle of an unfortunate, I don't know, whatever, in this case, a bunch of people, do you jump after him or do you let him just die and run away? Well, they're Bronze Age warriors. They're not going to let him die. So they all jump in too, right? So Kunti, the others, consequemur, followed. And I guess it could be we others, because there's the mer there. So we others followed, and we rushed in with densest armies, with it means like thick weapons, with dense weapons, with lots of weapons. meaning they're all ready to go down fighting, right? Again, we have this, this is actually more of an interlocked word order phrase here. The consequemur A, densis B, incurrimus A, armus B. And just like here, you see the word picture where Coroebus is in the middle of the battle line. What we're seeing now is Aeneas and his men being woven into the battle line, and their weapons sort of like it's all clashing together, right? You're seeing, just like if you ever watch Lord of the Rings or any of those big battle movies, when the two sides go roar, roar, and then they whoop, smack together, and it starts to intermingle. So that's what we have here, is this intermingling of Aeneas and his crew with all the other Greeks that they're about to meet. Okay, now here's the bad thing, and this is so confusing, and I'm probably going to have to explain these last 3 lines in class. But the temple that they are ripping Cassandra out of is not in the city center. Roman and Greek and Bronze Age warrior cities were kind of in tiers, right? If you've ever gone, and if you ever go to an Etruscan city state, you know, they have the big hill to get up to the first round. So you have the first defense here. And then you go in a little bit, and then here's the second defense, and you kind of go in a little bit. And then you have another defense, right? And in each one of these, like, wall areas, there's people living. And every time you go up another level, it gets smaller and smaller until you get to the little castle doohickey at the top, right? All right, so you got this little castle, I don't know, at the top. So let's say Aeneas and his men have gotten, I don't know, let's say they fought their way through. It doesn't tell us where they are, but let's say the temple would have been on one of the top tiers. So they might actually be close to the castle. And there's a temple here. Now, the temple isn't inside the citadel. It isn't inside the castle itself. It's outside the castle. So I know it looks like a Roman numeral 3. Pretend it's a temple. Okay, it's a temple. All right. And they're ripping Cassandra out of the temple. All right. And you have all these people. And Aeneas and the men, they see Cassandra being ripped out of the temple. And they start to attack all the little Greek dudes over here. But wait, there are still some Trojans up here. There are still some Trojans in the last citadel. The Greeks have conquered everywhere, but they haven't gotten into the last palace, and there are still Trojans there. So what are Trojans going to do when they see their princess being attacked, but what they think is a mob of Greeks? Well, these Trojans up here are going to start throwing spears down, right? So not only are they going to get spears here, but Aeneas and his men are also going to be attacked by the Greeks here. So now Aeneas and his men are going to be attacked by their Trojan allies and the Greek enemy. Okay, the Greek enemy because Aeneas and his men are trying to steal Cassandra, the Trojan allies because the Trojans see Aeneas dressed up in Greek armor and think he's Greek. Okay, so that's why the trick isn't going to work anymore. And that's where this is. Alas, are here first. Peek here, primum first. Obrurimer, we are overwhelmed. Oh, wait. So you have to go down here. So you go 1, and then you go 2 here. We are, oops, let me try that again. Overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed from lofty rooftops, culminae, by the spears of our own. We are overwhelmed from the lofty rooftops. Do I want to say rooftops here? From the lofty rooftops, from the lofty culminate, literally means like peak, but we can say rooftop here. So from the lofty rooftops, delubri of the shrines, teles here. Notice singular, singular. That's how I know these two go together. Teles is plural. That's how I know it's different. And that's when these endings really come into play. Like you really have to pay close attention to those endings. So here first, we are overwhelmed from the lofty rooftops of the shrines with the weapons nostrum of our own. With of our own, in this case, own people. And those are the Trojans on top of the tower. All right. And the Kaides here means slaughter, and miserim is a nice superlative. The most miserable slaughter arises. And that's the orator. All right, remember, que goes in between the two. Okay, and the misera kaides, the most miserable slaughter, orator, arises. Okay. By the appearance, fake, by the appearance of the armor of the armor. You can almost say because of the appearance of the armor. And by the mistake of the Greek. Ubrara means crest. So by the mistake of the Greek crests. It could also be like emblem, but basically they're wearing the wrong uniform. Oh my gosh, I got that in just before the bell. All right, so there was a lot going on here. I think I'm going to have to explain these last 3 lines for you guys again, but go ahead, watch this video, take your notes, make sure you have the markups done. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? I will see you guys on Monday, if I can stop this.